Well, hi there, Dr. Pete, Old Man Muscle. And you know, I was sitting here feeling sorry for myself. I'm 68 years old, and you know, life seems to be going by pretty fast. And then I looked behind me at this sign, and it says that a bad day can be made better by working out. And so that's what I'm going to do. How about you? You want to join me? I'm going to show you some exercising you can do at home without any equipment, and then do a little bit with some equipment. So if you're ready, let's go! Well, hi there. This is Dr. Pete, Old Man Muscle, coming to you with this video chat. And I want to ask you a question. Are you a man who is 50 years of age or older, who wants to be more strong, more active, more physically fit, but hasn't been able to take any steps in order to achieve those goals? Well, if that's you, I can relate to it because that was me as well. And sometimes we have either a medical issue or a physical issue or an age issue that prevents us from starting on an exercise or fitness or strength training program. And I'm here to say that that ought not to be the case, because there is a way to train that is age appropriate, and just about anybody, no matter what their physical condition, can embark on a strength training program. And in my gym, we do certain exercises in a modified way that allows us to complete them, whereas if we did the original exercise the way it is performed by a 20-year-old, let's say, we could not do it. So it's very important that we are age appropriate in our training, that we're smart about it, but really that we're regular about it too. We need to make strength training our sport. I can't do basketball anymore. That 38-inch vertical jump that I had, it jumped out the window many decades ago. But strength training is something that I engage in, and I would encourage you to do so, not to become a bodybuilder, because that's not what this is all about. I mean, we'll develop some muscle to be sure, but it's strength that we need. We need strength in order to be able to get up off the floor, to get up and down stairs and so forth, to carry things. So I'm going to tell you a little bit in this video through demonstration, some of the exercises you can do at home with no equipment, and then some exercises using equipment here in the Old Man Muscle Gym. So if that sounds like fun, stick with me, because we're going to get started right now. So I'm going to be a little bit out of breath in between video segments because I'm working out. And it feels good, but you know, I'm a senior citizen, and that's anybody over the age of 55 here in Texas. So I didn't realize now it's 13 years since I've been a senior citizen. It's just amazing. Now, the reason I mentioned being a senior is that the number one fear of senior citizens is frailty and weakness, which will lead to falling. And if you fall and break your hip or some other bones, it's a long process of operation, rehabilitation, recovery, and it's not easy when you're older. So what can be done about that? Well, we can increase our bone density, we can increase our strength to be sure, so that we have much less risk of falling if, and only if, we strength train. So cardio is fun and it has its benefits, but cardio is not going to protect us from falling. Strength training has the ability to do that. So that's one of the best reasons that I recommend that older men and women engage in strength training, which means that you're going to be lifting some type of resistance, some kind of weight against gravity, and that's when the magic will happen. Now, strength training has also been shown through research to reduce the signs and symptoms of chronic diseases like diabetes and heart disease. Also reduces depression, helps us sleep better, which is nice. And clearly, it's true that strength training has the ability to promote health, and I mean meaningful health benefits for older folks like you and me. All right, so I need to get on with this video. in which I'm going to demonstrate some exercises that you can do at home and some that you can do here in the Old Man Muscle Gym with me if you come in. And I also needed to mention something real quick. I was in the supermarket the other day and found this. How about turning it over? So Premier Protein, some of you know Premier Protein from the shakes that they make, the nutritional drinks that contain 30 grams of protein. And now they have teamed up with Post cereal to create a high protein, it's 20 grams of protein cereal. And I thought that was interesting. Had never seen that before, and I wanted to share that with you. So one of the things that we have to do if we're going to strength train and attempt to build muscle and strength, we have to add more protein to our diet than we're currently getting. Almost all of us are under consuming protein, and you may not think that's true, but how much do you weigh? Do you weigh 200 pounds? Are you consuming anywhere near 200 grams of protein a day? Well, you probably need to. Certainly 150 wouldn't be out of the question, right? But closer to 200 might be even better. Anyway, the video today is going to start now when we take a peek at some warm-up exercises that should be performed before we do any lifting in the gym. And quite frankly, these warm-up exercises, because they are body weight, they can be performed by us every single day just to get ourselves moving. And it's very important, as we've said before, to have the body be in movement so it doesn't lock up, it doesn't set us up for injury and so forth. So let's get started. Come on. Now, whenever we train, it's important to have a plan regarding what we want to achieve in the gym. And that includes how much time we want to spend. Is it going to be 10 to 15 minutes or 45 to 60 minutes, half hour, what? Well, we always begin, no matter what the time frame, we begin by stretching, making sure that we employ movement in our stretching. This is called dynamic stretching, and it is different from the kind of static stretching that most people are familiar with. What dynamic stretching does for us is that it achieves something very specific. It warms up the muscles and joints by increasing the circulation because we are moving, quite frankly, and this is going to help make our muscles and joints and tendons bulletproof to injury as we work out in the rest of the time. So once we transition to lifting weights after doing our stretching, it's time well spent, therefore, because now we can lift without worrying about injury. So I'm about to go into the gym and demonstrate for you a dynamic movement or stretch called the overhead reach. And this is a great one to just start us off anytime that we're going to exercise. And I'll let you in on a little tip. As we move through our program on this video, it's okay to incorporate some light weights with our warm-up, as long as they're light and not very heavy. And by doing that, we get an added benefit. It's a value-added warm-up then. And I'm actually going to show you a few instances or examples of that where we are engaged in some leg movement, but we add to that some arm movement with dumbbells. Barbells would be a little bit too heavy. Dumbbells in each hand, but lightweight dumbbells. But, you know, all of that is coming up, so just stay tuned. Coming right up now. So here's an example of a dynamic stretch that is very good to do, to perform before we do any lifting whatsoever. So it's called the overhead reach. It's quite simple, but you have to keep a few things in mind. Number one, you want to go straight up with your arms and alternate. You don't want to be coming at an angle or doing any kind of twisting. Just straight up and down like that. You want to do a repetition of 10 of these, so 10 per side. Another thing to keep in mind is that you're going to probably hear some creaking, and that's okay. But if there's pain, stop. And I would suggest if there's any pain when you lift up your arms overhead, try out in front. That should silence the pain, and it's still a good warm-up. And so we're working mainly the shoulders here, a little bit of the upper arm and the back. It's really a good dynamic stretch like this, okay? Don't just go to this height. The idea is to stretch, okay? It's not so much just moving. We get the benefit of movement, but we also add in the stretch. All right. So before I go on to the next stretch warm-up, one more thing about the reaching is that you can perform this sitting or standing, and it's actually slightly more challenging if you're standing. So I recommend that you do this alternating. One day when you stretch, you're going to be sitting, and the next day you're going to stand up and do it. You get the legs, you get the core engaged that way. And I mentioned the creaking noises, okay? So as we move, we're going to get the benefit of some joint fluid into the shoulder joint capsule. And so the creaking should go away. My shoulders creak every time I work out and I do the warm-up, but when I'm done with my repetitions, everything is smooth. And so hopefully that's the same for you. So next we're going to move down the kinetics chain, which means the lower extremities, the legs. We're going to do some warm-ups for them. And the first warm-up that we're going to do is called the leg raise, okay, or leg lift. And to do this properly, we're going to take one leg at a time and lift it up and perform 10 repetitions on each side. That's all it is. You see what I've done? I've added an ankle weight. And even though the ankle weights might just be a couple of pounds or 4 pounds, when you get through doing these reps, you're going to feel it. So it makes it a little bit more challenging for us. That was the leg lift. Second one, the leg press. Leg press goes like this, okay? So we're going to do 10 on each side. And again, if you want a little more challenge, use the ankle weights. If you're beginning, don't use ankle weights, just use your body weight. Now the thing about the leg press I want you to keep in mind is it's not this. It's not a leg extension. I see fellas who are doing this. That's not what we want. We want to press. We want to push with our leg like that, okay? That's different from this movement. Got that? That's number 2. Number 3, march in place. What does that mean? Very simple. You're marching like this, okay? And again, if you use the ankle weights, you're going to feel a challenge there. So the idea is to do 10 on each side. You can vary the speed. Try to get your knees high and bang out those repetitions. Leg lift, leg press, marching in place. For those of you who become advanced and you want more of a challenge, I've got this tip for you. Use a pair of dumbbells that are light. These are 5 pounds. What are we going to do with them? Well, we're going to perform something simple like a curl as we do the leg exercise. So, okay, we're going to press out and come up with the weights. Notice that I wasn't doing the leg press at first. It's really coordination here. You've got to think about what you're doing. You're going to do the leg lift or the leg press. Make sure you do that and don't sneak in something that's inappropriate like the leg extension. Okay, so pick an exercise that you want to do with your upper body and try to marry it with something you're doing with the lower body. That's a challenge for you. All right. By the way, I'm wearing this Peacocks Sweet sweatshirt. Pete Koch, of course, was an actor and former NFL player in Heartbreak Ridge, a movie with Clint Eastwood, and I've been in contact with him several times about bodybuilding and so forth, strength training. And he's got a line of shirts, workout and sweatshirts and so forth that you can purchase. And I just enjoy wearing this for this video. And I wanted to make a point here that the stretching that I've been doing seated, I'm just using a regular old folding chair here. I mean, obviously I've got workout benches here in the gym, but you don't even have to use those if you don't have a workout bench at your disposal. Just get a regular old folding chair. Works just as well for many of the things that we do around here in the Old Man Muscle Gym. Aside from warming up properly, doing our stretching and so forth, we have to breathe properly when we train. And what this means is, first of all, understanding that when we inhale, we take in oxygen, and when we exhale, we breathe out carbon dioxide. In addition, the cells of the body, the muscles we're thinking of, also the brain and so forth, takes in nutrients and expels waste products. So this whole thing of inhaling and exhaling during our workout or training is very critical so that the cells are working properly. And what this means is the way we breathe as we train becomes critical. What do I mean by that? Well, we have to inhale at the right time and exhale at the right time. We have to learn how to do this. So I'm going to give a demonstration. I'm going to show a simple concentric and eccentric lift. How am I going to breathe? Like this. You see what I'm doing? I'm breathing out, exhaling, as I bring the weight up, as I contract, okay? That's the way you want to breathe. Doesn't matter what the exercise is. When you're doing the force, that's when you're going to breathe out. Let me show you another one. I'm going to do a goblet squat. Same thing, same idea. When am I using force here? On the way up. On the way down, it's just gravity pulling me. To fight gravity, fight the weight on the way up. So I breathe out. That's a quick tutorial on how to breathe properly. Do it. All right, and there's something else about breathing that I wanted to mention, and it is this. Never hold your breath while you're working out. Why? Because it creates high pressure in your circulatory system. Your heart, your blood pressure goes up. That's not smart. Don't do it. All right, let's go. All right, I'd like to demonstrate a versatile piece of equipment that's here in the Old Man Muscle Gym. It's called the battle ropes. And these are the battle ropes. You see it's a thick, heavy rope that ends in a couple of handles here for gripping. And so athletes use these when they're training to pack on lean body mass, muscle. And we can do the same thing. Now, there's a few simple exercises that I recommend we do with the battle ropes. There's all kinds of exercises that are possible with these, but there's like just a couple, 2 or 3, that I like for us to do as we train as older men. I'm going to show you those in just a moment here. Battle ropes. All right, exercise number 1 with the battle ropes. It's going to be a squat. Now, I don't have any cartilage in either one of my knees. I'm a candidate for knee replacement, and I can't do squats normally. However, check this out. With the battle rope, because of the mechanical advantage it gives me, I can perform a squat down to the floor, like that. A body weight squat. We talked about breathing. How do you breathe with this exercise? You see that? This is a fantastic, close to whole body exercise. The battle rope squat, one of the best. Alrighty, the other 2 exercises are called the slam and the wave. I'm going to demonstrate those for you using, again, the battle ropes. What makes this challenging is that the battle ropes have weight to them. They're heavy, so they offer resistance. So when we try to lift them, it's not that easy, okay? It's not like just going like this. So let's do the slam first. In order to do the slam, you don't want to be standing up straight. you want to get into what's an athletic stance. Legs apart, knees bent. Kind of a combat stance. Lift both ropes up, simultaneously, slam them down. That's a set of 10. Okay, the other exercise is called the wave. Not that kind of wave, this kind of wave. So it's done with alternating left and right on the battle ropes, like this. And as with any battle rope exercise, you make it more difficult if you speed it up. Like that. Battle ropes. A couple of other pointers about using the battle ropes. One is, don't grip them too tightly. There's a tendency for guys to really grab onto those battle ropes. The trouble is that if you have too strong a grip on them, that can lead to fatigue, early fatigue. So we're trying to fight off the fatigue. It's better to have a relaxed grip somewhat when using these battle ropes. Maintain that athletic stance and keep yourself from slouching. You want to have a neutral spine, okay? Keep it straight and not bend over, and you'll be safe. That's a safe spine position for us. And again, correct breathing is important. And when you're doing something as rapid fire, potentially, as the battle ropes, it might take some adjusting to get your breathing down properly. But the point is, keep breathing. Never hold your breath as you're using the battle ropes. Okay. So a couple more things I wanted to mention. When we train with the battle ropes, I really like using this equipment for various reasons. One of the reasons is that it's not of the common push-pull type of movement. There's a great variety in terms of what the arms are doing, the shoulders, the hips, the glutes, the quads, all at the same time, the arms. And it's not pulling and it's not pushing, but it's movement is against a force or forces. There's the weight, the force of the battle ropes themselves. There's also the pull of gravity, of course, that we're always fighting. So the battle rope movements are special and they need to be worked into a weight training or strength training routine, if at all possible. The other thing I wanted to address is that we are strength training. Almost 70 years old. This is not bodybuilding. We're not trying to do bodybuilding. It's different when we strength train. Now we use a lot of the equipment that bodybuilders use, so we'll have free weights and certain machines and so forth, but we don't train to develop an aesthetic 20-year-old bodybuilder body. That's just not possible at our age. Okay, but we still do build muscle as we strength training. That's the nice thing. So we get sort of the best of both worlds. We become stronger, we get a little bit more muscle. But it's not ever going to be the case that a 70-year-old is going to look like Lou Ferrigno. Unless you take the juice, then who knows what you'll look like. But this is all natural strength training that we do. It's healthier, it's better for the heart, the liver, and so forth if we train naturally. So that's what I advocate. You can take some supplements if you wish. Creatine is one of the most tested supplements for athletes and strength trainers, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with taking creatine if you want to. But steroids and the like, SARMs, forget about it, as we say. Just have a good diet, get plenty of rest and recovery in between training, and you'll see and feel a difference. So this is Dr. Pete. Looking forward to you joining us next time as we sign off on this Old Man Muscle video chat. Take care until then. Bye-bye.